Good vibes, lovely people, wonderful weather. I mean, Palma de Mallorca is fantastic.
It's great fun, and the great sailing in the Bay of Palma, flat waters with a decent breeze. You can't get better than that.
From the Superyacht Cup, Palma, and I'm here today to talk about the Superyacht Cup and the development over the past 25 years. So I'm joined by Alex Pamment, the captain of the Superyacht Ganesha, who's taken part many times. So Alex, you'll remember back in the early days of Superyacht racing, how different was it?
Yeah, it was extremely different, a slightly more relaxed affair. The rules were forever changing.
Made them up as we went along?
We made them up as we went along. Slightly more informal, and I guess eventually the competition got so tight that we had to formalise the rules a little bit.
Exactly. I think in the early days there were several boats that were out without even owners knowing about it, so things had to change.
Exactly.
But in those days there was very few boats, and it was a celebration of the end of the med season and prior to going off to the Caribbean, where everyone disappears over winter. But things have changed, and we built up to a big event in 2007, which was the year that the America's Cup was in Valencia. Yeah. So you joined us in 2007?
That's correct. I'd done a few races before that, but that was the first year I participated on Ganesha. And yeah, it was a huge event. I think there was about 52 boats.
52 boats, yes.
So it was a great spectacle, and I think from that, you know, it set the precedent for the following years.
It certainly did. It was a huge event. We had boats from all over the world, and we were very fortunate with the conditions, very little wind, because I don't quite know how we would have coped with that many boats had there been any breeze. But there were stories of 20-odd boats go around a mark at once. Were you ever in any of those?
I've been in too many tight calls to discuss right now, but yes, that particular year was very interesting. There's a lot of boats parked up around more than one mark, so there's a fair bit of shouting going on.
Yeah.
But you know, all was well. I mean, we came out of that unscathed, as did all the other boats, and the event went really well from what I remember, and the owner really enjoyed it.
Yes, it was a spectacular event. I don't think there's been a bigger gathering, so the 52 boats was a record that's been standing for quite a long time. We incorporated the Millennium Cup, so we had a lot of the Kiwi support as well.
That's right.
And if you remember, we had the band, the Kiwi band came up, and it was a huge party.
It was a great party. So it was a huge event, and the venue was very suitable for such a large number of boats then. So that was my biggest memory, is just watching all those boats park up after the event, and the party going on behind, and all the owners and the crew mixing together. It was wonderful.
Excellent. Well, that was the first year we moved to June and realised that actually June was a better time to hold the event. It's better conditions, good sea breezes, and we found people had more energy at the beginning of the season than at the end of the season, where we'd previously been in October. So what the big event in 2007 did for us was make us realise that we needed to step up the game a bit and introduce a few more rules, make it a safer environment, bring in a better rating system so that boats could be evenly matched against each other. And I think what that did was bring in boats that had never thought of doing a super yacht event before, because they thought it was all a bit chaotic. By bringing in these rules, we could have different classes grouping boats together. So it's changed quite a bit. You'll have seen.
Yeah, it has, and I think it's given every owner with any type of boat the opportunity to race it. You know, and it's a huge challenge that you guys you've actually achieved it. I think, because the rating system now is so finely tuned. No matter what type of boat you have, if you're an owner and you want to race it, I think you stand a fair chance of making it to the podium, because the rating system's just so accurate at the moment.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's been taking a long time and a lot of years, but it's what we owe to people committing to come racing, that it's as fair as possible. I mean, yacht racing will never be 100% perfect, but at least we can attract people to come in an environment where you've got a fair system and an equal chance of winning if you have everything comes together correctly on the day.
Yeah.
We also are sort of looking at new ways of bringing in boats for 2021, which will be our 25th anniversary. We've had a very different year, obviously, in 2020, so we've got to look outside the box a bit, looking at bringing the Corinthian class, the white sails only, for boats that want to sail with fewer people, so no spinnakers, and then they can race with family and friends and smaller numbers of crew. How does that sound to you?
I think that's a great idea. Cuts down on costs, cuts down on logistics. It'll make it easier to get crew to and from the boat and minimise these numbers. And I'm sure a lot of owners will sign up to that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think alongside it we'll still have the competitive classes, because there are boats that still want their racing adrenaline. But there's no reason we can have 4 or 5 different classes.
Yeah, exactly. If everyone's sailing under the same rules and they're happy to, adhere to the Corinthian style of racing, then why not? Absolutely. I think it's a great way to go.
Excellent. And in terms of Palma as a location, you've sailed around the world probably several times. You've visited so many places. How do you rate Palma as a location for holding super yacht events?
Well, I think it was you that once said to me that there's never been a race day cancelled in Palma through too much or too little wind. And I think that says it all. The sailing in Palma Bay is excellent. It's flat water sailing. We've got the thermal breeze that comes in every day. And then, the shore-based fun afterwards has always been, a great addition to the event, where it's, like I said earlier, it's a little bit more informal than other events, and owners and crew get the chance to meet. And Palma City itself is just a great place to be for a week.
Excellent.
So yeah, no, I mean, I love sailing in Palma Bay for sure.
Excellent. So you'll be joining us in June 23rd to 26th.
That's yet to be determined, but I'm certainly pushing for it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and thank you very much to the Balearic Yacht Show for this opportunity to talk to you about the Superyacht Cup.
My pleasure.